Yes! For your next top 10, can you please do top 10 cameras? Yes, I can. Today I'm ranking the top 10 strongest camera units in all of toilet tower defense. Definitely one of my more controversial lists. However, I still think it's pretty solid nonetheless. If you guys agree with this list or just like the top 10s, make sure you guys smash that like and subscribe button. We are still trying to make our way to 50K by the end of the month. Let's see if we can do it. Yoo-hoo! Let's stop wasting time. Let's head on over to number 10. Coming in at number 10 might be a shock for you, but not for this skeleton. Coming in at number 10, we have the Mech Cameraman. The Mech Cameraman, in my personal opinion, is the strongest legendary cameraman in the entire toilet tower. My man has easily one of the cheapest damage per seconds per dollar spent in the entire game. Not only that, this man maxes out at 6,000 damage per second with an attack radius of 50. There are not many units in the game that can do the range. There are multiple things that I love about this man. This man can punch. This man has a parasite disabler gun. He has a freaking nail gun. He has a machine gun, and he has a taser. I'm not kidding. You get every single new one of these every time you upgrade him. You can already see everything he's doing now, and every time you upgrade him, he only gets more tools and assets to use. Personally, I don't know how he's not strong. Look, at wave 8, I already have him fully maxed out. Quickest 6,000 damage per second of my entire life. Single-handedly one of my best and favorite units in all of toilet tower defense, and it's for all of those reasons that this man easily takes number 10 over things like the laser. Either way, without further ado, let's head on over to number 9. Coming at number 9, we just have an overall solid camera, and it's of course the Camera Spider. Not to get mixed up with the Camera TV. The Camera Spider maxes out around 9,000 damage per second and chases down toilets like an absolute rabid dog. This man shoots lasers out of his face while he also records your dismay after he explodes you. He's one of the harder units to upgrade on this list, and his upgrades per cost do kind of suck. However, on this list, he is the only movable unit, and for that reason is why I have him so high up on the list. Because who doesn't like having an own personalized dog on their team? Unfortunately, his attack radius only maxes out at around 30, but his walk range maxes out at 50. I think attack range of 50 is pretty solid, and being able to track down units is a blessing and a curse in its disguise. However, when you place down this unit, one thing you absolutely do not have to worry about is placing any stun protection. Because don't worry, that boy can protect himself. That boy don't get stunned. So mainly because of his exclusivity and rareness and uniqueness to himself and all of the other cameras, that is why the Camera Spider is gonna find his way at number 9.
But wait, Hopeless, if he's number 9, then who's at number 8?
I'm so glad you asked. Coming in at number 8 is gonna be what used to be my favorite unit during the Thanksgiving update, is none other than the Camera Shield Boy. The Shield Cameraman was one of the first, if not the first unit in all toilet tower defense that could not get stunned. He was the first one that just decided to say,
don't want to get stunned, thank you though.
And not only this, but he doesn't like special attacks from toilets. He actually fully deflects them. Not only does he deflect them, he pushes them back on the toilet. He used to be broken where he would deal damage back equivalent to the damage that the toilets were supposed to do to him. He would use his shield and send missiles right back and send those toilets packing. He still has a super cool and unique ability. However, since his max damage per second is only 10,000 these days, you don't really get to see him use this. His damage per second per dollar is 1.62, which is super strong and super valid, which means you basically get a lot of damage per second for every dollar you spend upgrading it, with the ability of not getting stunned and with the ability of deflecting damage back. I genuinely thought that this was going to be the most OP in this unit, but 10,000 damage per second just is not enough to get by things like hyper upgrades on Cameraman, who can literally murder anything at once. So the Shield Boy Camo Man Army Man is going to find his way on the list at number 8. Let's go to number 7. Let's be honest, you guys knew this guy was coming. It was just a matter of when. And it's number 7. Yes, that's right. It's the Green Laser Cameraman. The Green Laser Cameraman might be tied for the lowest DPS on this list at 9,000. However, he is easily one of the most valuable units in the entire game. I would like to place him higher. However, I think that'd be sinful. I think putting him in the top 10 at number 7 is a pretty solid spot to be. The Green Laser Cameraman can slow down enemies by 50%, which is obviously his best factor overall. You use this guy on almost all meta teams. He is the reason why you're able to make it to high 100 waves in Endless. Not only this, but he has some form of sun protection. He's guaranteed 2. However, I've seen him block 4. Nobody really knows exactly how many stuns this man can block. He can only target 1 unit at a time, which is probably his biggest Achilles. However, being able to slow toilets down by 50% nonetheless is one of the greatest feats that a single unit could do in toilet tower. Obviously, this man could be better, but he could also be way worse. Super valuable and super good. Green Laser Cameraman is our number number 7 out of the top 10 best cameramen.
It's time to go to number 6.
Bird, did it just get cold in here? Or is that a ghost? Coming in at number 6, we have none other than the Ghost Cameraman. A lot of people probably say Green Laser Cameraman's better. However, how are you going to be better than a unit that does 60,000 damage per second when you guys both only do single attack damage? Explain that to me. So yes, obviously with the Ghost Cameraman, his most effective and valuable asset is obviously the fact that when you max him out, he does 60,000 damage per second. Used to be literally the most broken unit when you could stack buffs. However, you can't anymore. So now he's just kind of meh, but still top 6 on the top 10 cameramen, that is. Since the man's literally a see-through hollow shell of a cameraman, he cannot be stunned at all.
Many have tried. None have succeeded for the C-boy.
His DPS per dollar is 1.31, which once again is kind of meh, but clearly his most important asset, once again, is the 60,000 damage per second. Having a unit be able to do that much damage per second and not be in the top 10 is actually blasphemy. He has to be here. This list would be incomplete without the scary ghost man. Plus, he is a very cool looking. I do give him that much kudos. So with 60,000 damage per second, I'm pulling him all the way up to number 6. What could possibly outdo that at number 4? Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. Coming in at number 5, I'm still here because I traded away it, but coming in at number 5 is in fact the Engineer Camera. The Engineer Camera is kind of a mixed bag and kind of a harder unit to rate overall. The reason why it's so hard to rate is because no one knows how good actually is, but it's good. But how good is good? It's a super cheap unit to upgrade, and you can place down 4 of them in total, and it pumps out toilets every 20-ish seconds at 50,000 HP, which isn't that good. However, every single one of those tanks does 2,500 damage per second, plus it has a 2,000 damage laser. So like does damage by sacrificing itself, but it also has like 5,000 damage per second until it gets eaten, but a new one comes out every 20 seconds and there's not a limit on it. Do you guys see the problem with him? He's hard to rank. He's hard to rank, okay? And so for that reason, he comes in pretty high at number 5. However, justifying him any higher than 5 might actually be considered a war crime in some countries.
Not the countries that I want to go to.
So for that reason, the Engineer is gonna lock himself in at number 5. Also, sorry I traded him away. I wish I could show you. All right, let's go to number 4. Coming in at number 4 is technically 2 units, but I figured these guys were like a 2-for-1 special, but they're basically the same thing. It's both of the Mace boys. We got ourselves the Mace Cameraman as well as the Jetpack Mace Cameraman. I think the Jetpack Mace is slightly better, but they're almost identical. If you're wondering what's so good about the Mace boys, it's not only the fact that they can block stuns and that they actually have really far range, but undeniably their most valuable asset is that the Mace Cameraman can max himself out at 50,000, just kidding, 25,000 damage per second. But not only is he able to do 25,000 damage per second, but he's able to do it for ridiculously cheap. If you're ever trying to speedrun Nightmare Mode, these are your units to do it. They do some crazy front end damage without even having to think about it. They swing their maces and they do not discriminate. They will bash your head in if they want to. It's a super strong unit, and that's why it's gonna be at number. It might actually be the highest damage per second per dollar unit all of Toilet Tower. And plus, they just look super sick.
You injured plunger man boy, you look so great.
But obviously, it's the damage per second for the cheap price. That puts it so high on the list. All right, let's move on to the top 3, baby. Let's go. So this is this awkward point for number 3 where I have to put a picture up on the screen now because I don't have it. But it's because it's literally one of the rarest units in the game. Give me a break. Coming at number 3, we have in fact the Corrupted Cameraman. Not only is he one of the most rare units in all of Toilet Tower Defense, still super hard to get your hands on. But this man does 25,000 damage per second, and he doesn't cost too much to. He has a pretty thick range of heat, which is actually why he's so high up on the list. But he has a $2 damage per second, so every $2 you're gonna get 2 damage per second out of him. So it doesn't cost too much to max out. He has 7 levels, and he does a 25,000 damage per second. Past this, he can block 2 stuns, but that's about it for him. Some people should debate him being lower, other people would debate him being higher. However, I think number 3 sounds just right, or just perfect for the Corrupted Cameraman. Once again, I wish I had some footage for this man. However, I don't. You could probably debate him being lower. He could probably even be like 5th or 6th as a list. For me personally, I did number 3. I kind of regret it. So if you guys say,
Why is the corrupted man at number 3? Oh my god, oh, blah, 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 blah.
I agree. He should be low. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well, I will. Let's move on over to number 2. This is the advertisement of this video. If you haven't already, go check out my main channel. I'm gonna start posting some Blox Fruits videos there. I think I'm gonna do 50 days of Blox Fruits. If you guys like Blox Fruits, I like no. And we're gonna figure it out together. I doubt it'll do well, but it's something that I want to do personally, and I'm gonna give it a shot. So if you want to check that out, please do. Oh, also join my group on Roblox. I'll leave a link down below. I have limited t-shirts in Roblox. You should check those out. All right, coming in at number 1 and 2, we have a clash of titans. No, literally, it's 2 titan units. We have ourselves the upgraded Titan Cameraman as well as the toxic Titan Cameraman. Before I announce which one I think goes in at number 1, let me rattle off some key distinct differences between the 2 strongest Titan camera boys. So the toxic upgraded Titan Cameraman has less DPS overall than the upgraded Titan Cameraman. The toxic slows down toilets with his acid gun, and he also damages toilets over time with the acid. Many people don't know this, but when they have that like green status effect on them, they actually slowly take some type of poison acid damage. This is something I didn't know about for the longest time. Not until recently did I realize what was happening. He also has the same amount of stun protection as the upgraded Titan Cameraman does. It's not an insane amount, but it's still a pretty good amount. You're gonna be pretty protected from stun units. He has a max damage per second of 45,000. He is pretty freaking expensive to upgrade, but what Titan isn't, beyond? And he has a max radius of 65. How stupid is that? If you spawn on the map, he'll be able to find you at some. And to no surprise, upgraded Titan Cameraman is gonna have much similar qualities to that of toxic upgraded Cameraman, besides for the fact that he doesn't have an acid fart gun. All he does is at his max level, he gets a little hammer, where he does 50k damage. Excuse me. Sorry, I just got so excited talking about Titan. Where will basically go bonk on top of toilets' heads when they walk by. He'll get a hammer right there, and then he'll absolutely smack you down. And he also eventually does an AoE burn of 1,000 damage per tick. It's something that not a lot of people know about the upgrade Titan Cameraman, but also 1,000 damage is in them. So, but every single upgrade with the upgraded Titan Cameraman, unlike the toxic upgraded Titan Cameraman, is that the upgraded Titan Cameraman gets a bunch of different like bells and whistles added to his aesthetic every time you upgrade him. That's one of the most parts about it. Unlike the toxic where he just like basically looks cool every time he gets slightly. But obviously these are easily the top 2 strongest of the Titan Cameraman. But which one does Hoplas think is number 1? Because apparently every single time, no matter what list I make, I'm always stupid and I'm always wrong. So there's not really a right answer. So I don't even want to say which, but I think it's the toxic upgraded Titan Cameraman. I know. I just think it's a little bit better. I think I'm someone that loves explosion radius as well as target slowing. Definitely think that I have a major bias towards slowing effects, and I know that. And so that's why 1 and 2 are kind of up in the air. And that's what you guys need to decide on the down below. Comment down below which Titan is legitimately. Do you like the toxic upgraded Titan Cameraman more, or do you think the original upgraded Titan is still better? I lean slightly more towards the toxic. However, I could be leaned literally any other way. So either way, without further ado, leave those comments down below.